Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. I am Simply G, and today I'm showing off all of the anime that I got for this month. There's a couple things here, namely due to sales, and one of these things I bought a long time ago, but it was ordered with something else, which finally came out, so I finally got my order. But yeah, rather than spend too long on this intro, I'll just get straight into it, and I hope you guys enjoy. So first up is a local DVD release. This is a show I have seen before, and it's been a long time, so I don't really remember very much about it. I don't know if I was paying all that much attention when I was watching it the first time, but this is a DVD release from Australia. It did also get a US release, and I think you can still get it fairly easily, but I had been wanting to rewatch this just to reform an opinion on it, and I found it for very cheaply in a secondhand store here. So I picked this up. This is Geosay, Planet of the Beast King on DVD. This is a josei sci-fi story about twins, basically, and a weird beast planet. And as I said, I don't remember very much about this show at all. This is based off of a manga, which I think was released in its entirety by Tokyo Pop back in the day. But yeah, it's kind of a more gritty sci-fi, or serious sci-fi, I should say. It's one of those series that I don't think a lot of people know it's either a josei or a shoujo. I don't quite remember. But doesn't necessarily fit within people's expected genres for those demographics. Obviously, you guys all watching here know, because you are well informed, and I try to make it clear the demographics of the things that I read. But yeah, I've been meaning to rewatch this for quite a while, and I was just happy to find it for so cheap, so that will go on the rewatch pile sooner rather than later. Local release, this is a Blu-ray release, and so basically one of the stores here that sells DVDs and Blu-rays and electronics and things, they were having a 2-for-1, buy one get one free deal, so I picked up this and something else, so it's just kind of closing up any remaining gaps, quote unquote, that I have for the two things that I got. So the first up is Rascal Does Not Dream of a Dreaming Girl. This is the film sequel to Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai, which is although it has kind of a bit of a dodgy name, is actually a very, very good kind of a more nuanced take on the Haruhi Suzumiya type of light novel genre, about a teenage boy who is helping various people in his life who are struggling from teenage syndrome, wherein the worries of their lives are causing physical symptoms. They're having physical impacts on their lives. I guess it's similar to a mashup between Haruhi and Bakemonogatari, but with less of the focus on the supernatural element and more on the focus of the personal drama. It reminds me a little bit of my youthful romantic comedy As Wrong as I Expected as well. It kind of has that vibe. But it's surprisingly good. The show is actually very, very good. And this is just the film follow-up. I wouldn't say it's as strong as the show, but it does give a bit of finale feel to the franchise as a whole. I'm sure the light novels are still ongoing, with no end in sight. I don't actually know, so don't quote me on that. But I do think that if we never get any more of the anime, this is a solid ending to the series. I will say that like the series itself had a very solid ending. This is a little bit superfluous, but it does give some finality to one of the character arcs that was a little bit of an enigma over the course of the show. So yeah, I got this in conjunction with another title, and I don't know which one was free. Probably this one because it's been out a little bit longer than the other one. But I don't know. Doesn't really matter at all. And yeah, I'm probably going to put this disc into the UK limited edition I have of the TV show, so it's all just one box, as my usual kind of thing. Thing that I got in the 2-for-1 deal is the final Fatestaynight Heaven's Feel movie. This is Spring Song. So this is the end of the Heaven's Feel arc, or Sakura's arc from the visual novel. For those, well, does the Fatestaynight franchise really need any introduction? Nasuverse is wide and all-encompassing. I don't have a huge amount of experience. I'm not super into it. We know that I'm not like super invested in like multi channels, like alter universes. We know that I get a bit fussed over like the Clamp universe, and Nasuverse is sort of the same thing, wherein characters pop up all the time and there's a lot of crossover, or there's alternate reality versions of similar things. Anyway, this is the darkest arc of the Fatestaynight visual novel, focused on Sakura, as mentioned. This is a direct sequel to Fate Zero / kind of a concurrent alternate timeline to the Fatestaynight Unlimited Blade Works adaptation, or just the Fatestaynight, storyline. Visual novels, as probably all of you listening know, have multiple routes because there are multiple girls you can date / save. And so this is the last part of Sakura's story, which for a long time I think people thought would be far too dark, because it is full on, far too dark to adapt. With this, it brings a close to the Fatestaynight franchise, the main timeline that kind of started with Fate Zero. I do think that it wouldn't go amiss if Ufotable decided to do the Saber storyline and kind of have a really solid reboot comparatively to the Dean version, because of its kind of iffy adaptation, but that does exist for those who want the Saber route. I don't know whether a new adaptation would make me like Saber more, because I'm not a huge fan of her, at least in the original Fatestaynight. I do like her in most everything else, so maybe it would help me endear her, endear me to her, I should say. But yeah, really, this franchise doesn't need any introduction. It's hugely popular. It has a bajillion different alternate versions. I also, the only other Nasuverse thing that I'm really have an interest in, or have invested the time in, has been the Garden of Sinners film series, which was also Ufotable, kind of funnily. I don't care about, Prison Ilya or I've seen a little bit of what's his name? The Lord El Meloy whatever spin-off. I've only watched a couple episodes. I probably will finish that, because I do think that Waver's an interesting character and one I want more of. But yeah, Fate's just it's a lot, and I'm happy that with this it's kind of finished. I don't have to worry about it until Ufotable decides that they want to do either the saber route or maybe a what Tsukihime, that's the one. The like an adaptation of a different Nasu series. Obviously, stuff like Fate Apocrypha and the the other ones have had film and television adaptations of various types over the years. I don't have time for it. I don't care. I'm not into the mobile game or anything. I've never played the visual novel. So I'm just happy with these like outstanding, very beautiful, well done adaptations from Ufotable, and I don't have to think about it. But for those who are Fate fans, I'm sure most people have seen this or are planning to watch it. So it's the last part of a trilogy, so I wouldn't recommend you start here. You might want to start at the beginning, and really the beginning is Fate Zero. And I think most of this franchise is streaming on places because I wouldn't recommend you buying the Aniplex box set sight unseen if you're wanting to own it. This month, this is what I was waiting for pre-ordered, and I pre-ordered it kind of when it went on sale because I have seen this, really enjoyed it, which may feel a little bit out of place with what people tend to associate with the things that I watch. But this is the highly controversial and infamous, I guess, yeah, infamous series Interspecies Reviewers. This is the Blu-ray Steelbook collection, which has both discs of the show as well as the soundtrack. I haven't listened to the soundtrack. I don't know really what's on there. I don't know how good the music is, particularly for this series. But this came with a very chunky booklet of extras. It's got storyboards and some bonus manga and background art and things like that. So you can't really tell from this cover, but from this you can definitely see this is an extremely ecchi or fan servicey series about several guys who live in this fantasy world of various races. So we have a human, we have an elf, we have a gnome, I want to say, maybe a halfling, I can't quite remember, and an angel who is not a guy, is intersex, they, them, non-binary person, or angel, I should say, who go around in this fantasy world because there are all of these various races. It means that there are all sorts of various personal services, quote unquote, brothels that have options for people to enjoy after a hard day adventuring. And these people, these guys, because they are very interested in that, they've decided to like go around to all of the different brothels and basically give them a review and then publicly post that review and with their, unfiltered thoughts in order to, I don't know, try everything. I don't quite remember what the rationale was. Well, the rationale is that people would pay for that kind of information. But it's useful because obviously people who are into certain types of kinks or anatomy or whatever want to hear where they can find those things. So basically, this is very on the line softcore porn about a bunch of people who are going to these various brothels and their experience, like them writing about their experiences there and sharing it. And it's fun. It's really funny. I think it's really refreshing to see sex workers shown in such a positive light. I really appreciate the fact that our like non-binary angel is not very they are they don't stick to the very kind of toxic masculine idea of like, oh no, I don't, all I want is just to, certain types of things. I'm never, no flexibility. I think their incorporation makes it a little bit more refreshing than some of the just like really perverse wish fulfillment-y feeling that this series could have otherwise. Obviously you can tell like this is from this there is just crazy anatomy going on, and all like rationale through like, oh well, their species is like half cow, so of course they have big boobs because cows have udders and blah blah. Like it's trite, and it's not like it's going like, obviously it's just an excuse to have really big boobs or really like whatever, but it's actually done pretty well. And as I said, it's handled really in a fun way that's respectful enough and but doesn't take itself too seriously. I also really appreciate kind of the diversity of kinks that it has. Everything from like egg laying to like just lots of stuff. And even if our group of guys isn't into it, there's always, because again there's a whole diversity of races within this fantasy world, there's going to be people into it, so it's like a very kink positive series. Which is like a weird thing to say about a show that got pulled from Funimation streaming service because it was just that raunchy, and it is raunchy. There's a reason that this was put out by Critical Mass, which is Nozomi's hentai label, for lack of a better phrasing. It isn't that explicit, but it's very on the line. But I think anything about sex work is going to be that. It just comes with the territory. So if that icks you out, if you're not a fan of fan service, especially fan service, kind of male gazy fan service, then this isn't for you. Don't watch it. You're not going to enjoy it. But I do think that it's fun for what it is. And I went into it mostly to see like what the controversy was about. I think it had just been announced for a release, so I wanted to give it a try. Plus I follow the translator on Twitter and stuff, so I know how well she works, so I just wanted to give it a try. And it was really good. Like, I really enjoyed it legitimately. If I had just only thought it was okay, obviously I wouldn't have bought it. But this is a fun one that isn't going to, win any awards, but it certainly isn't horrendous. I've seen far worse, especially in relation to these sorts of topics, this sort of setting. I think it's actually very well done. And I will say that it kind of sets you up immediately. The first episode, the opening scene has our human character, like he's just come back from having a visit with this beautiful elven sex worker, and his elven friend is like, dude, how could you, like, I don't understand how you could sleep with her. Like, she's so old. She's older than my mom. That's disgusting. And he's like, well, guy, like, she looks super hot. She looks like an 18-year-old or 21-year-old, right? Elves don't age the same way that humans do. I don't care how old she is, because she still looks banging. And the elf guy's just like, oh my god, that's so gross. Like, I could never. Meanwhile, his favorite girl he likes to visit is this human woman who's like definitely almost 60, and the human guy's like, oh my god, how, I don't know, ew, guy, I don't know how you can do that. And he's like, no, like, humans, like, life energy is so clean and so lovely and like so attractive. I don't understand how you don't find her hot. And it's Like, I really liked that. I think it's, as I said, I think it's well done. It's not brilliant. It's one that you put on, maybe not with family around. But it's not like, it's not the worst thing you're gonna see. If you like fun sex comedy kind of stuff, then absolutely pick this one up. It is well worth the watch. But again, it's very on the line. It's very risque. That's all of the anime that I got for this month. Quite a mix, I'd say. But happy to have finished off two things, and happy to give Josei another try. And yeah, it's probably not the easiest series to recommend, but I am glad about interspecies reviewers as well. For those who missed out on the Steelbook edition, there is a like a standard edition coming out very soon from Nozomi as well, or well, Critical Mass. So you know you can still get it there. Yeah, I think that's it. Let me know your thoughts, feelings, whatever, on any of the series that I talked about today. That might be opening the floodgates a little bit. I'm a bit worried, but yeah. More, I never really planned to have any anime, so more than zero is always like more than expected, but I think there's a good mix. So yeah, as always, thank you so much for watching. You can follow me on Twitter at that's GEE _reads. I'm on there quite regularly. You can also follow the podcast that I co-host with my friend Ray. That's the Read Right to Left podcast, both here on this channel and on various podcasting platforms. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you in the next video. Bye till then.